that. And so if I am so focused on staying on the line, I can't fulfill my assignment. But my God is big enough to handle my fault, my strokes, grubs, my mess ups, because he's already prepared for what I might do. He knows what I'm going to do before I do it, and he already made preparation for me before I get there. What follows darkness is light. That darkness is the indicator that light is getting ready to shine. So there it is in Genesis, when darkness was upon the face of the deep, and God in the spirit form moved upon the face of the waters, and then God said, let there be. Because darkness precedes the light. Are you understanding what I'm saying? But he needs the darkness there so that God can move upon the face of the deep, so that the shift can take place. Listen, look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor that shift take place in the darkness. Oh God, y'all didn't hear what I just said. Everybody's not going to see the shift that's happening. They see the chaos, but they don't see the shift. They see all the craziness going on in your life, but they don't understand that underneath the darkness, God is moving in secret. He's moving in quiet. He's moving in the hidden places. He's moving in the cracks and the corners and the crevices. He's moving in places that you cannot see. And when the light comes, they're going to see a new order. timing. And so the universe then has no choice. First attribute of the secret place. The secret place is a place of revelation. It makes you free because it awakens you and makes you consciously aware that everything that you thought was holding you is an illusion. Well, I almost forgot how to use this thing. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, and welcome. It is so good to be back with all of you. Good morning. Happy to see all of you that are online with me right now. Please tag and share. I tried to tag as many people as I could remember and make sure that I got everyone notified that we were coming on. But Toya, you're already hard at work tagging others, and those of you who can remember, go ahead and start tagging some of our normal participants to come and join us in this live. It's been a long time. It's been a long time, but it is really great to be able to be here and coming live with you once again. I know the setting is a little bit different. I've made some shifts and changes around, and still working on some other technical things. The lighting is not as great, but we're going to work on that and get that straightened out. But I could not miss the opportunity to be able to come online and share with those of you who would join me. And I've missed so very much. If you're online with me, those of you who are on, just type something in the comments. Good morning, hello, how you doing? Good to see you. Whatever you want to say, but I'd just like to acknowledge each of you that are out there. Theresa, so good to see you watching us over on YouTube. Toya, as always, right on time, right on the spot, always here. Dee Dee, of course you're here. Thank you for being here and joining us. Though there are several others of you, you haven't said anything yet, say something in the comments so I can know who you are. I'd really like a chance just to say hello and good morning to all of you. I promise we're not going to be on very long this morning. This is just kind of a reintroduction, reconnecting. We are going to talk a little bit about one particular topic and then we'll get off. But those of you who are out there, please just say hello in the chat or in the comments. If you're on Facebook or you're on YouTube in the chat, just type in hello, good morning, how you doing? A long time no see. Who is this? Who this new phone? Or whatever you want to type in there. A wonderful, soulful Sunday. I am so happy and glad. There's my sister, Grand Rising Kimoria. I'm so glad to see you. So glad to see you. It's good to see you again. Amen. So great to see all of you that are on with me this morning. Listen, as I said, we won't be on a long time. I'm going to have a brief discussion with you, and then we'll gear up for our next empowerment session, which will be next Sunday. We were a little bit late getting on, still trying to get everything set up and trying to work some of the kinks out of some of the equipment. You know, it's been lying dormant for quite some time. So I guess the first thing I'll do is catch you up and kind of let you know what's been going on. Some of you are already aware. Back in January, I was in a severe car accident that left me a little bit incapacitated for a very long time. It seems now it's been 8 months since we've been able to come together here in this space. And so I ended up being taken to the hospital with some injuries to my shoulder and to my lower back.
And so I've had to go through some rehabilitation and therapy and a lot of hard work to be able to recover and get back to a place where we'd be able to share. It made it extremely difficult, well, actually impossible for a long period for me to be able to come on because I couldn't sit up straight for any long period of time. So I had to forego talking with you, but some of you I appreciate reached out to me via text messages or Facebook Messenger and checked in on me. You're aware of what was going on and you've been praying, and I can feel your prayers and good thoughts and good energy and vibration. That is what kept me going and helped me to recover and recuperate as fast as I have. I'm still not fully back to my normal self. I'm still moving around on a cane, but that's a far cry from where I started. Far cry from where I started, man. I should bring that walker out here and let you see. I was having to move around on a walker for a while. I mean, it was extremely challenging, extremely painful. But I'm pretty mobile and can move around pretty well with this cane, and I'm working toward getting to the place where I won't be using the cane at all, and I'll be back to my normal, fully healthy self. So I want to say thank you to all of you who were praying for me, who have been sending out good vibes, those of you who have called or text and periodically checked in on me to make sure that I was okay. I want you to know that I really, really appreciate that. I don't take it for granted, because people don't have to check on you. They don't even have to care about what's going on with you. And so I am very appreciative for those of you who cared enough to check in on me and to make sure that I was doing well. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Okay, so trying to think, is there something else? Okay, everything will be up and running soon, hopefully. As you know, if you've tried to visit there, the Emerge ministry page website is down right now. And we're working toward getting that back up again. Of course, I discontinued it for a while until I could get back to a place where I was able to be functional and do some things for myself. But we're working toward getting that back up and online, so you'll still be able to go there and take advantage of all of the resources that are there on the web page. So it will have it back up and running real soon. I'll keep you posted about that to let you know when it's back up and it's online. So it's been interesting since I've been able to get back on Facebook. I was off Facebook for a very long time. I just disabled my page for about a good 4 or 5, maybe 6 months. I think it was about 6 months. And then recently came back on about 3 months ago, and have been interacting. And some of those interactions have been kind of interesting. I've as usual, y'all know me, I've caused a little bit of controversy and with some people, and they get a little upset. I even had, a person attack me because I said that prophets and seers and psychics and clairvoyants, you only see one timeline. Most of them only see one timeline. Every now and then you'll come in contact with one who might see more than one timeline. But that the person who has access to all the timelines for your individual life is you. So you are the best prophet for your own life. That's not discounting or discrediting or dismissing the use of prophets, psychics, clairvoyants, or others who are seers. It's not doing that at all, but it is saying that you don't need to be dependent upon someone else to see your life better than you. Nobody has more access to your life, your past, present, future, the events that are taking place in your life Nobody has more access to that than you, and nobody's vision for your life or sight of your life is more powerful than your own. You have this one irrefutable power, that is the power to choose what you will do with your life. That power is infallible. Please listen to what I'm saying. Okay, so that even, and this is the part that kind of got them upset, because they couldn't buy into this because of that whole ego tripping thing of, but even if a prophet, and they may be a real, true, sincere, gifted prophet, seer, psychic, whatever, can tell you that in 10 days XYZ, or I see you going here, there, or doing this, that, or the other, or this will occur, that is not set in stone. You still have a choice. You can make a different choice that changes the trajectory of what has been said and what will happen. Now, they wanted to argue back and forth with me about that and tell them, say I'm a witch, and one said I'm a psychic, or, off, or whatever. But even with the Bible, which is what most of them rely upon, then even with the Bible, I can cite you several instances where that is a proven fact. The Bible is replete with examples of where someone received a word from a prophet like Isaiah, Hezekiah rather, who was told by the prophet, get your house in order because you're getting ready to die. Then he made a change in his behavior, made a choice or a decision, as the text says, turned his face to the wall. And then because he made a different choice, then the prophecy shifted. All of a sudden now he got onto a different timeline, and another 15 years were added to his life. Look at Job, who ran and tried to get away from the assignment that was given, because he was given an assignment to tell the people of Nineveh God was going to destroy the entire place. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. Just get ready, because destruction is going to come. And the people made a different choice. These are allegories, of course, but it's still there in the text. Made a different choice. The scripture says they turned to God with sackcloth and ashes and began to weep and cry out to God, and God changed its mind. Now, that, of course, that is an anthropomorphism, because of course the writer was looking from a human perspective, so that when the event didn't unfold the way that the prophet predicted, then he attributed it to a change of mind. But what it was a change in timeline, a change in the events. Time is not linear. Even though it is an illusion, its existence is not linear. It is spiral. And so all the events that will happen are happening in the eternal moment of now. There are multiple timelines of events that are taking place, and they're all taking place simultaneously. And the choices and the decisions that we make align us with the specific timeline that we have chosen. And so at the end of the day, nothing negates your choice. Not a prophet, not an apostle, not a bishop, not a pastor, not a preacher, not a day, nor a time. Nothing negates your choice. You are the God of your garden. Nothing can exist there except you say, let there be. You live in the matrix of the reality that you create for yourself. Your choice is never disqualified, never discounted, and never eradicated by the words or the sights or the visions of another person. If someone else had more authority over your life than you should worship them. Are you understanding what I'm saying? And, the person retorted by saying to me, "Oh, I'm not an ordinary prophet. I am the very voice of God." I'm like, well, so what? We all are. When I speak, it's the voice of God. When you speak, it's the voice of God, because God is divinely expressing itself individually in each and every single one of us. And your voice does not have more authority over my life than my voice. So please, no matter how accurate and anointed and whatever else, someone may declare themselves to be, don't ever give anyone else more authority over your life than yourself. And that kind of brings me to what I want to talk about a little bit today, and that's about identity. And I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time. Like I said, we're going to be here briefly today. But I want to talk a little bit about identity, because all of these things, all of these controversies and conflict arise, especially among religious people, when you are dealing with people who don't know their identity. Who are you really? Not who you've been taught to be, not who culture has shaped you to be, not who your environment has shaped you to be, or religion, or family members, or cousins, and aunties, not experiences, not traumas, but who are you at your core? When someone does not really know their identity, they don't know their own divinity, they don't understand who and what they are in this three-dimensional existence here in the earth, then you are subject to being told who you are and given an identity by other people. Now, we've all been victims of that at some point in our life, because we were born into families who inadvertently, not maliciously, inadvertently labeled us and imposed upon us an identity that they assumed would fit our three-dimensional existence, that would fit our life. And so they give us, you didn't have a choice as to where you would, if or where you would go to church, if or where you would grow up, who your surroundings would be, who your family and cousins and friends and relatives would be. You didn't have a choice even about your own name. Someone else chose a name that they thought was fitting for you and placed that name upon you. You didn't get a choice in the matter about any of these things. And so these identities were imposed upon you. And then the people of influence and the surroundings and cultures and environment around you began to influence you as to the validity of the identity that you were given. The problem with that is, ladies and gentlemen, is that when you began to identify with anything external, anything outside of your true nature, your true self, your true being, you limit yourself to the experiences of that identity. Let me say that again. Anytime you begin to identify yourself with anything outside of your true self, outside of your divine self, then you limit yourself to the parameters and the experiences that are connected with that particular identity. If you only identify yourself as a doctor, then the identity of doctor creates a arena or an environment or a culture of experiences that you have access to and that you will enjoy. But if you only see yourself as a doctor, you limit yourself in the experiences that you would have to the experiences of those who are doctors. That's the experience that you limit yourself to. When you begin to say, well, okay, I'm not just a doctor, but I'm also a father or a mother, fine. But you see, you've added another identity. And what happens is that most of us claim or cling to multiple identities, thinking that that gives us a well-rounded and full life. Well, I am a doctor, a father, or a mother, a husband or a wife, a Christian or a Muslim or a Jew or a Hindu or a Buddhist. I am African American. I am an American. The camera's freezing up here. My camera froze. Why? Oh, we're back now. Yeah. And so, and so while you have these multiple titles and labels, you expand the parameter, but there are still limits because you are limited to whatever it is that you have identified yourself as. So if you remove those labels, you broaden your experience. Well, how so? I identify myself with God. I identify myself as a divine, unique individuation of the all of everything. God is omnipresent, omniscient, omnipotent, omniactive. Therefore, I identify as the divine Spirit of God in three-dimensional form, as a divine expression of God in a human body, a spirit having a human experience. If I identify as divine spirit, then the same omniscience and same omnipresence and the same omnipotence and the same omniactive is now available to me. That allows me now to have an experience that I'm tied to of the all of everything. That means that I have limitless, endless, boundless possibilities available to me. I open myself up to all the experiences, all the encounters, and all the power of the universe or the kingdom or the world that you want to speak of, whatever terminology you want to use. And I often go through the semantics so people don't get all confused. They get, up in arms. It's like, I don't know, universe, kingdom of God, same thing, just semantics, okay? You open yourself up to all of those experiences and all of the possibilities because you now identify as the divine that cannot be contained because it contains everything, that it is the all of everything. You practice a healthy detachment from all of the things that you encounter and experience. You experience them, but you are not labeled by them. I am a spirit that is experiencing fatherhood, that is experiencing maleness, that is experiencing spirituality, that is experiencing being a teacher. I am not the teacher. I am a spirit experiencing the ability to be able to teach. I exercise that gift. I exercise that ability, that capacity, but I am not limited to that. I am a limitless, boundless being, and so are you. You are not limited by that. So many people find themselves stuck, trapped, chained, bound, bondage to a particular place or people or thing because they have invested themselves with the identity of that thing. I even posted, I said, many remain in the pastorate because they have identified themselves with being a pastor or an apostle, prophet, evangelist, or teacher, or bishop, and that is the entirety of their identity. And when inevitably that season or time comes to an end, they have a hard time letting go or walking away. They end up staying way longer than they should and being ineffective because they are trying to cling on to something because it has been their identity for years. But when I practice a healthy detachment and understand that I am not what I do, I am not my title, I am not my job, I am not my culture, I am not my environment. Are you hearing what I'm saying? I am not my family name. I am a divine spirit. Then when it's time for me to make a shift or a change or move in a different direction or take a different journey or a path, being able to walk away becomes easy because I've not lost, nor do I feel like I'm leaving behind my identity. I understand that my identity is not tied and tethered to a church. It's not tied and tethered to a title. It is not tied and tethered to an occupation or a job or a business, nor is my identity tied and tethered to a relationship. Many times people remain in relationships that no longer serve them. They are no longer aligned with who they have evolved in. They no longer are in harmony with the evolutionary journey that they are on, but they remain there because they are tied and tethered to the identity of the relationship, whether it is boyfriend, girlfriend, significant other, husband, wife. They are tied to it. And so I cannot, because I am married to this, I am merged to this, I am committed to this, even though it no longer serves me. I know this is going to upset some people as well and probably seem a bit controversial, but it is really not. It's healthy. You are not obligated to remain tied or tethered to anything that no longer serves your highest good. Lord have mercy. I'm not telling you to just give up and walk away from this, that, or the other. I'm telling you, after careful examination and analysis, if you arrive at the conclusion that this job no longer serves my highest good, my original intent, or my purpose for being, then it's time to let go and move on. If this church no longer serves my highest good, then it's time to move on. If this particular identity, this club or belief or ideology no longer serves my highest good, and then it's time to release it and let it go. And please understand, letting go does not mean that what you are letting go or moving on from was bad. It means it has served its purpose, and now it's time to move to the next thing. So people think that when I say stuff like that I'm saying, well, church is bad. I'm not saying church is bad. There are some people who absolutely need that experience. It's what keeps them hanging on. It's what keeps them moving forward. It keeps them from, it gives them some structure for their life. Wonderful. As long as it serves you, stay there, embrace it, and go. Now, you should question if you've been there for 20 and 30 years and you still in the same mindset, same place, same, oh goodness, same spot in your journey that you've not grown enough to be able to detach even a little bit. That's a problem. That's an issue. Okay. But I'm saying as long as it's serving you, remain, stay. But when it comes to the point that it no longer serves your highest good, then it's time to move and realign or align rather with that which does. That doesn't mean the pastor was terrible or the church was bad or the relationship was horrible or the job was terrible or the community was bad or this, that. No, you're not denigrating anyone or anybody. You're simply saying, in my evolutionary journey, in my growth and development, I have come to the place where this no longer serves me. Are you understanding what I'm saying? There was a point a few months ago that I was on a walker and I held on to that walker to be able to navigate and move from here to there. That walker served me. I needed it to be able to steady myself, to stand up straight, to not stumble and fall, to be able to walk from one point to another. But there came a point that the muscles in my back began to recuperate and to recover and strengthen, and the bones and the muscles and the tissues all began to rejoin themselves and align themselves to the place where I no longer needed the walker. I still need to walk, but I don't need the walker to aid me in walking. Did that make the walker a bad thing? Does it make it a terrible thing? Do I now sit and denigrate the walker? No, it served me, but it has completed its purpose. Now I no longer need it to be able to walk. Guess what? It was designed to be temporary. It was not designed to be permanent. Lord have mercy. Let me say it again. I said it was designed to be temporary. It was not designed to be a permanent fixture in my life. Ladies and gentlemen, few things are designed to be a permanent fixture in your life. I'm going to repeat that again. You should write this one down. I know a light just came on for some of you listening to me right now. Few things are designed to be a permanent fixture in your life. Few things, few places, and yes, as quiet as it's kept, few people are designed to be a permanent fixture in your life. Most of you can attest to it because you've had people who at one point were very important part of your life, but now not so much. Doesn't make them a bad person. You just went in different directions, took different paths, and that connection now is no longer as strong or as close as it was. It served its purpose. Are you understanding me? Very few things, people, or places are designed to be a permanent fixture in your life. They are designed to be there for as long as they serve your highest good, to offer some type of support that prepares you, enables you, strengthens you, expands you for the next iteration of your journey. Are you hearing what I'm saying? I'm rambling on and not reading the comments, so let me jump over here and read real quick. Hey, good to see you, Latrice. She says, no point in staying if you're not being fed. I move when it's time. That's right. She went on to say, true, many are just there for the attendance, not growth at all. They become loyal to the pastor, but not necessarily loyal to God. Few things are designed to be that's right, a permanent fixture in your life. Theresa says, sometimes they don't even know that it's not serving them anymore because they're not challenging or questioning the experience. Because, man, look, you just opened a whole nother can of worms, but that is so true. Sometimes people remain in places, in things, or with people because they are completely oblivious, consciously. Let me qualify that. Consciously oblivious that it no longer serves them. But intuitively, we all know. Oh, you know, your soul knows what your mind is yet willing to comprehend or open up to and to accept. Oh, there is a knowing and a knowing down in your, as they say, in your belly. You know there's something, that little something down inside of you that says, okay, you know, this has passed, this is done, this doesn't serve me anymore. There's nothing else I can gain from this or get from this. There's nothing else that's going to help to increase me or expand me or stretch me. I'm not getting any better here. And then you do need to take the time to examine. Is it that it no longer serves you, or you're no longer allowing yourself to be served? Woo. Yeah, let me make sure I put that piece in there. Let me put that piece in there as well. There's the other side of it. There's the other side. There's a polarity there. Is it not serving you, or are you not allowing yourself to be served? Because you can shut down. You can intellectually, emotionally, spiritually shut down, and it's not the person, the place, or the thing that's the issue, it's you. Woo! We just turned the curve right there. Yeah, sometimes it's you. But if you know that you have opened yourself, you haven't moved, you haven't shut down, you haven't closed your heart, closed your mind, closed your soul, you're just not being served, then yeah, it's time to make that move. But you got to make sure that it's not, that you're not allowing it to serve you. How many times have you found yourself in a place where you shut down? Maybe you got offended. Maybe you got hurt. Maybe you just pissed off at the moment and mad. And so you shut down. And it's not that you can no longer be served by it. You're choosing not to be served by it. Woo. It still has more to offer, still has more that it can assist you with, aid you with. It can still expand your capacity, but you have shut down. Then you got to do your own interior work and deal with your own shadows that have caused you to make the choice to shut down. Ooh. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Are you hearing what I'm saying? See, don't let offense be the reason that you walk away, because then you're not leaving because it no longer serves you. You're leaving because of an offense. Don't let offense, or I'm quitting. They ain't gonna talk to me like that. I ain't gonna treat me like that. That's it. I'm out of here. You leaving out of offense. Not because it no longer serves you. Not because it no longer fulfills a purpose in your life. You're offended. You're angry. You're moving based upon an emotion. And that emotional state has caused you to make the choice to wall yourself off, to shut yourself down, to put up a structure now that won't allow the purpose of the person, place, or thing to be fulfilled in your life because you mad. You mad? You mad? And so you have shut it down. But as soon as you remove the wall, it goes back to serving you again. So there is that polarity, there is that duality that is there. It is either no longer serving you, but the reason it no longer serves you, it could be, number one, that you've outgrown it, or you just mad. You're not applying yourself. Hello? Okay? So it's like when a student takes a test and they fail. There are two possible reasons. One is that it's a bad teacher and a bad test. Or two, the student hasn't applied themselves to learn. You can't automatically assume that it's the teacher. Y'all hear me, parents? School just started back. Before you start going out there wanting to cuss out the teacher and fuss and fight, make sure little junior is doing what they're supposed to do. Are you hearing what I'm saying? So the same thing is true with everything else. This relationship no longer serves me. Does it no longer serve you because you have shut down? Because you're angry? Because you're bitter, resentful? Or does it no longer serve you because you've outgrown it? And so it has nothing more to offer you. Hello? Does this connection, this gathering, this church, this assembly no longer serve you because you've outgrown it? Because that what they're teaching you is antithetical to the knowledge level that you have arrived at? Or are you offended by something and so you've shut down and Mother so-and-so got on your nerve and Sister Shirley pissed you off and so now you ain't hearing nothing that nobody got to say? Are you hearing what I'm saying? That brings us back to the identity again. Because the only way you can become offended is when you begin to identify yourself with something external. That ego kicks in. Ego becomes involved when you begin to identify yourself with something outside of your own divinity. Your own isness as the divine individuation of God in human form. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Let me go back to the comments real quick. Yes. Yes. Bummy says sometimes we're just addicted to familiarity. Absolutely. That is an absolute fact. You become familiar with something, you're used to it. It's an exercise that you do. Some people go to church just to check off the box. It's just what you do on Sundays. That's what you're supposed to do. And so it's like, I've been going to church every Sunday for the last 25, 35 years, so I got to go. I can't miss church. I don't feel right when I'm not there. I gotta go to work. I gotta go. I gotta go to the family reunion. I don't ever miss a family reunion. I gotta go. It's familiar. Or you're trying to live up to the expectations of other people. Ooh. She don't even come to church no more. Must not be saved no more. Your salvation is not connected or tied to a church. Lord have mercy, I'm finna make all my church folk mad with me. Yes, you can be saved and not go to church. You can know God, you can be spiritual, you can be connected, whatever that whole saved thing is, I understand what they mean by it. You can have a relationship with God and never set foot in the church. Oh, when I say a church, I'm talking about a building, an assembly place. Because in fact, that is really just that, a synagogue, a building, a gathering place. It is not the church as the Bible, even the Bible defines it. Okay? Absolutely. So a lot of people do things out of habit. Sure. It's just they get addicted to the familiarity. That's absolutely correct. Kamara says it's a challenge to prosper anywhere when you're walking in. Yes. Yes. Relationships can't prosper. Your employment can't prosper. Your relationship or connection with a church or organization won't prosper when you are walking in offense. And you got to ask yourself, why are you offended? Teresa said, emotional triggers. And that works on both sides as well. Some people are triggered negatively, of what we call negatively. Others are triggered what we call positively. I got to go because I'm addicted to the huck and the buck. I gotta get my dance and my praise. And so, if I'm not in that environment, then it's like I'm missing something. Are you hearing what I'm saying? You become addicted to it. It's an emotional trigger. That organ hit, and you take off them drums, put on that darn kick track. All of a sudden, you start feeling something. They turn it off, and you don't feel it no more. Like Pablo's dog. Oh, Lord. See, I be trying not to upset folk. Grand day. I'm not calling you a dog. It's an experiment. So, it's an experiment. I promise I'm not calling anybody dogs. I'm not. It's an experiment. You are programmed to react and respond a certain way when you hear the organ hit a certain note, the drum hit a certain beat, that click track jump on. You are programmed to respond. And then when it stops, like musical chairs, everything stops. Especially if the preacher say, yes, yes. You know that means sit your behind down. Sit down now, because we got to move on. Sit down. Nothing wrong with it. Y'all, please don't get mad. I'm not making fun. I'm just saying it's funny. We're all trained that way, especially in the church. Okay? We're programmed. All right? And if that continues to serve you, if it meets a need in your life, then by all means, embrace it. But by the same token, there should be a point where you outgrow those things. And they're no longer necessary for your spiritual development, growth, and evolution. And now you've moved on to something else. Okay? I gave over 40-some years of my life to preaching ministry in church all the time, pastoring, leading, preaching, evangelizing, prophesying, so on. July the 18th, 2 years ago, I stepped away for the last time. I stepped away. I haven't been to church in 2 years. Any church. What? Preacher, apostle, pastor, you don't go to church? No, I don't go and attend anybody's worship service at all. Am I somehow now less spiritual, less connected to God? No, absolutely not. I never went out of necessity. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Not because I need it in order to solidify my connection with God. Okay? And if you have been, you got to ask yourself, if you've been attending church, maybe the same church, maybe different churches, for the last 20, 30 years, and you are still in the position where you cannot function without it, is it really serving you? Oh, all right. I'm going to leave that right there. Has the church become your identity? Has the culture of the church become your identity? Are you more identified with your church than you are with God? Are you more identified with the preacher, the pastor, the prophet, the evangelist, the apostle, the bishop, the teacher, than you are with God? With your divine self. How many times have you quickened and fell out and got slain in the spirit at home? Let me hush. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm stopping. I'm stopping. I'm leaving that alone. Moving right along. Oh, Lord have mercy. Mistaken identity, misidentifying yourself with anything limits your experience. Okay? Don't sell yourself short by misidentifying yourself. Hold on. Kamara says she haven't been to church in 11 years, okay? And you are yet influential. Thank you. You're so sweet. Thank you. Is at the same place it was when I left. Oh, goodness. She said Ichabod. Let me get that. See, come on, you gonna get us both in trouble. Jimmy, good to see you, man. He says, I'm with you on this. I appreciate that, man. And I'll go on to my own spiritual sanctuary. Me. There it is. Because even your Bible, those of you who read the Bible says that you are the temple of the Holy Ghost. Okay? That the temple is in you. You are that temple. The Spirit itself lives in you, through you, and as you. God is not sitting up in the sky with some old man with a beard sitting on a throne and a scepter in his hand, sitting high and looking low. No. God lives in me, through me, and as me. I am the sanctuary. I am the temple, the synagogue, the mosque. I am the meeting place. This is the meeting place between I and God. And so I want to come into its presence, which it's impossible not to be in its presence because the presence of God is everywhere, ubiquitous in its form. But if I want to experience that presence, I can go within the sanctuary of my own being and commune and communicate and be intimate with the divine spirit that I am. Are you hearing me? I don't know whether or not they can function, Apostle, because they are not. They don't know. They really, most don't. And that's part of what the whole pandemic was about. And I said that to y'all during the pandemic. that many people, that's why a lot of the churches are shutting down. Some of them shut down and will never reopen. And people are making an exodus because during the course of those 2 years of the pandemic, 2.5 years, almost 3 years of the pandemic, where the churches were shut down and everyone was locked away in their homes, people started to realize that I could still be spiritual, still have a connection and a relationship with God. And I ain't been to church all year. And I'm doing great. And I'm doing fine. And I'm still hearing God and intuitively knowing and being led by the Spirit. It's been 2 years. And all the things that the church people told me would happen to me if I didn't come to church, they haven't happened. And not only have I not been to church, they ain't been to church either. You see? So a lot of people awaken to that. Now that they open back up, of course, there's a large number of people who just fall back into old habits. Because like Bummy said earlier, that it's a habit. It's familiar. It's familiar. So you fall back into what's familiar. You fall back into old habits and forget about how well you were able to function outside of that. Are you understanding what I'm saying? You are not your church. You are not your culture. Don't let people label you. You don't act black. You acting white. You talking white. What is talking white? What do you mean I act white? Are you hearing what I'm saying? First of all, we got to deal with the fact that you somehow think that acting and speaking black means speaking ghetto or broken English, and acting means being a thug or being crazy. You know, are out of control. That's problematic right there. Number one, that you associate that with being black. But number two, I'm not defined by the color of my skin. I'm not defined by the culture or the ethnicity of the race that I'm a part of. That does not define me. I embrace it. I love it. I experience it. I'm proud to be a black man. Wouldn't want to be anything other than. But it does not define me. I am only defined by the defined list, by the omnipotent, by the omniscient, by the omnipresent, by the divine, by the omniactive, that is limitless, boundless, timeless, and endless, that is beyond all human definition. I am defined by the all of everything, the creator. And therefore, I then now embrace those characteristics as being boundless, endless, timeless, limitless, undefinable. Because I am open to all of the infinite possibilities that the earth, that the universe, that the multiverse has to offer. I can experience them all because I've not limited myself to any exterior identity. I am a spirit. I'm having a human experience. Let me say that again. I don't even identify as human. I am a spirit. That is who I am. That is who you are. Spirit. Having a human experience. Spirit that is not bound by humanity or even this three-dimensional existence, but I exist across the multifaceted universe in every dimension, time, and space, and outside of it as well, all that is and all that is not. I exist in every corner of existence. And while I may only be consciously aware of my existence in this time and space, I have access to the conscious awareness of myself in various times and spaces across the multiverse through the spiritual practice of prayer and meditation. Are you hearing what I'm saying? That is liberating. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, that is within me, inside of you, in me, through me, as me, in you, through you, as you, there is complete and total liberation, freedom. Are you hearing me? I'm not bound by the thoughts, the ideologies, the beliefs of others, or even the beliefs that have been imposed and handed down to me. The moment that I shift my mind, I cease to be bound by the belief, and I cease to have the experience that is consequence to the belief. Let me say that again. The moment that you shift your mind, you are no longer bound to the experiences of the belief or the consequences that are the result of that belief. Are you hearing me? Toya says, our connection with God have nothing to do with anything outside of ourselves. I have been gone for 2 years as well, loving my journey. We are God in the flesh, an animated expression of God in the earth. Absolutely correct. Absolutely. Okay? So when I recognize that where the Spirit of the Lord is, that Spirit that I am, that Spirit that you are, affords me complete and total liberty and freedom. Freedom to be, to become, freedom to experience the infinite possibilities that are available across the multiverse are available to me. All I need do is align myself consciously with that knowing. The biggest battle that you fight is the battle with your own mind. Yes, reconfiguring, reminding, reconstructing those thoughts within your minds, those beliefs that were heaped upon you as you were growing and developing in this human form, have now taken root in your conscious mind. And so because you believe it, it is a reality within your world, and you experience all the parameters that are attached to that particular belief. You live within the consequence of the belief that you have adapted as your truth. But the moment that you are able to rise above to the belief, to release and relinquish that belief, you free yourself from the consequences thereof. You free yourself from the boundaries thereof. You free yourself to the infinite possibilities that lie beyond the borders and the parameters of that limiting belief. And now you're able and open to embrace an entirely new experience. Are you hearing me? Okay? That's just how powerful a being you are. The fact that you adopt a particular belief or an ideology, a perception, an outlook, you accept it as your truth. It mandates that the universe around you mirror it back to you, and that your experiences align with that belief. But at any moment, if you choose to eradicate, eliminate, annihilate that belief, you free yourself from the consequences thereof. And then you walk in liberty in that area. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Am I making sense to you? Yes. Kimora says, I'm so free from the consequences of hellfire and brimstone. As long as you believe it, accept it as a reality and a truth, you limit yourself to that experience and you will live in abject fear. Are you hearing me? As a consequence of the belief. But the moment you relinquish that belief and you begin to understand that it's contextual existence in Scripture, that it has to do with a mindset. It has to do with a preoccupation, a perception. You free yourself from that fear. The same is true for demons, devils, and spirits, and hanks, and all of these other things. As long as you hold that as a belief, you will continue to experience the consequences thereof. The moment you eradicate that from your conscious belief system is the moment that you stop having the experiences. And you start to see life from a fresh perspective. And you start taking responsibility, no longer a victim, being attacked by this, that, or the other, and somebody working witchcraft on me, and somebody doing this, and the devil's on my track trying hard to turn me back. The moment you relinquish that is the moment you no longer have to deal with the consequences thereof, and you no longer live in the victimization and feeling like you need something and someone to rescue you from this invisible attack that's coming against you. And you start to take responsibility for your own life, your own choices. Are you hearing what I'm saying? And you see things for what they are and recognize that you can change what you see. Woo! Lord have mercy. That your outer world of form and experience is only a reflection of your inner world of thoughts and feeling. You can shift it, you can change it by the renewing, reconstructing, reconfiguring of your mind. Are you hearing me? So sometimes you have to deconstruct to reconstruct. But we're getting way off. And I've been on here for over an hour. I said I wasn't even going to be on that long. And I've been over here for an hour and been on here for an hour and 15 minutes. You can tell I've been gone for a while. I got a lot to say. I got a lot to talk about. So I will keep going if I don't keep watch on the time. But it's been an hour and 15 minutes, so I'm going to bring it to a close. Thank you all so much for joining me for this live. We'll be back next Sunday at 9 o'clock. I promise we'll be on time next week. And we'll be on at 9 a.m. For our next empowerment session. I am so grateful for each and every one of you that have been supportive and stood with me through this difficult and challenging time. And thank you again for your prayers. And thank you to all of you who also continue to send your financial support. I appreciate that as well. I want to make sure that I give each of you watching an opportunity to support financially. If you'd like to give, it's not a mandatory thing where there's some curse gonna come on you and this, that, and no. Giving is something that is strictly voluntary. Tithing is a voluntary principle that you can follow. It is, you're not going to be cursed if you don't. You're not going to hell if you don't. The devil not going to get you and all the other kind of craziness if you don't. But it is a legitimate spiritual practice or principle that you can follow. The principle of tithing or just giving, you can do so by using the means that you see on your screen right now. I appreciate your support. I don't need your support. I desire your support. I don't have any needs, but I do desire your support. It's your way of showing that you appreciate the teaching and the time that we spend together. If you like to give, use our Cashapp or our Zelle, and we would appreciate it. We'll use 100% of it to support the work that we are doing here online. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for being a part of this great time together. I look forward to seeing all of you on next Sunday at 9 a.m. Oh, please take a moment and go over and visit the website for the product website for Humanities t-shirts and sweatshirts, and we're going to be launching some sweatpants and other types of shirts and caps, hats and cups and other things of that sort soon. Go over and check it out real quick. Watch this commercial, and then we'll see you next week.